What's happening, y'all? Welcome to Boo TV. Appreciate you for stepping in. Back in the Larry Bird universe. Back from the YouTube channel, Prime Larry Bird. This video popped up a couple days ago. I've been away from YouTube for a bit. Was on vacation, doing some other things, kind of busy. But I'm back with it, ready to get back into it. All right, Larry Bird had the greatest 3-1 comeback in NBA history. Now, if you ask anybody, I'm not gonna say anybody, if you ask most people, especially the younger generation, they would say the best 3-1 comeback in NBA history is the 2016 NBA Finals when the Warriors were up 3-1 over the Cleveland Cavaliers. But you have to also understand with that comes a lot of context that, adds to the story as to some of the reasons why the Cavaliers were able to get back in that series and win. Have your own opinion on it, whatever. But I'm pretty sure he's talking about, for Larry Bird's 3-1 comeback, that maybe the greatest has to do with the 1981 NBA playoffs. Now, the 3-1 comeback wasn't in the finals. I think it was in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Philadelphia 76ers that were up 3-1. Now, up until that series, I think the Celtics swept the first and second round. I don't remember who they played in the first round during that playoff run. I know the second round they played the Chicago Bulls. And the only reason I remember that is because I got in an argument with somebody. I was in a Larry Bird versus Michael Jordan argument. And of course, I think Mike's the GOAT. So, I was pro Jordan in this debate. But the guy was trying to tell me that one of the times Larry swept Chicago was in 1981. I'm like, Jordan wasn't even drafted yet. That team was led by Artis Gilmore, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, whatever team they swept in the first round, second round they swept the Bulls, came back 3-1, down 3-1 in the Eastern Conference Finals, and eventually they would win the NBA Finals against the Houston Rockets. And if you remember, Larry Bird did not win Finals MVP. I believe it was, what's that boy's name? Cornbread, Maxwell, because Larry had a bad shooting that series, but he impacted the game in a lot of other ways. But I can't wait to listen to some of the details and facts that, I don't know about or may have forgotten, and his argument as to why this is the greatest 3-1 comeback. So, let's get into it. Unlike the 2016 series, I would have to imagine that there wasn't a team that experienced a bunch of injuries and a suspension, but we'll see.
If anybody ever tries to convince you that a great player couldn't win a title in his first 5 years because he was too young or didn't have enough help, tell him that Larry Bird took the second worst team in the league to an NBA title in only 2 years.
Yep.
No excuses.
Greatest turnaround in NBA history when Larry Bird was a rookie. Incredible stuff.
Because with Larry Bird, it wasn't just about basketball. It was about pride, grit, and proving to the world what he and the Celtics stood for. Because that same year, as the Celtics were down 3-1 in the Eastern Conference Finals, Larry Bird pulled off the greatest comeback in NBA history. Larry Bird had an unshakable confidence from the first day he stepped foot in the league.
When I walk in the first day of camp, them guys were on the floor stretching, and here comes the white savior, here comes this, here comes that. I sort of enjoyed it because I knew I was going to battle them all day.
And after all the hype that Larry Bird had coming out of college, he immediately silenced one teammate that was his biggest doubter, Cedric Maxwell, who was the Celtics' leading scorer the year before Larry arrived. And on the very first day of practice, Cedric Maxwell got a glimpse of just how great Larry Bird was going to be in the league.
I was the first guy really to guard Larry. Wow. And I remember I was like you. I was the king of the mountain, man. I was averaging about 20 and 10 when Bird got here.
Maxwell has another rebound and another 2 points and a chance for a three-point play. And this crowd.
Yes, he was, but, Larry Bird had a more versatile game and a more impactful game. Like, the numbers are great, Maxwell, but we talking about Bird.
Loves it. As look at this, 28 points and 15 rebounds.
Yeah. So I'm thinking he's coming to this building. I'm looking at him, but we have the first practice. I'm thinking like, this ought to be a piece of cake. Yeah. Guy don't look fast, don't look good. Yeah. I'm about to do something to him.
I'm thinking, he's slow, he can't get off a shot. He's not that strong. This is gonna be a layup. Bam, knocks down a jump shot. Okay, maybe that was luck. Gets the ball again. Bam, knocks down another jump shot. Now I'm thinking like, okay, hey, you know what? I'm gonna D this guy up. I'm gonna show him his life. 20 feet away. Bam, 25.
Anybody that's ever played ball religiously knows that feeling. Somebody get hot, you're like, all right, yeah, move on. I got this guy. I'm going to shut this guy down. Let's see what he really about. We all been there.
Feet away, bam. My mind just goes to the, damn, this white guy can play.
Boy, I'm telling you what, it changed my opinion about racism in this world. Because I remember he scored the first basket jet on me. But
is that Paul Pierce? Is this a new podcast by Pierce? The Truth Lounge? And Rachel Nichols, Cedric? Bro, what? I know he got let go from FS1 recently when they canceled that show. Oh.
As I proceeded, he kept going further and further.
Is that John Sally on the far left? I can't tell if that's John. I don't think that's John Sally.
And further away. And by the end of the practice, it finished. The first black person I went to, I said, you know what? That fucking white guy can play down there. Then every other person of color would ask me when the Celtics got ready to play, they're like, yo, man, how's this kid Bird? You about to find out. You about to find out.
Damn.
The Celtics were the second worst team in the league before Larry arrived, winning only 29 games. But even as a rookie, Larry Bird led that exact same Celtics team to a 61-21 record. That 32-game turnaround still stands as the greatest single-season turnaround in NBA history. And what's most impressive is he did it with no Robert Parrish, no Kevin McHale, no Dennis Johnson, Bill Walton, Scott Webman, or Danny Ainge. It was all Larry Bird.
19 thus far. Bird comes away with it. Up to Carr. Bird again, and he's doing it all. 45 seconds first half. Here comes the Birdman. He is now 5 of 5. Shot clock. Ford to Bird. Bryant couldn't do anything with it. Taken up by Archibald. And look at the hustle. I believe Archibald touched it last. Look at Bird. Holy cow. Boy, I tell you, that doesn't epitomize this basketball team.
But this should have been no surprise to anyone because
you don't see stuff like that very much nowadays.
At every level, Larry Bird proved the doubters wrong because in college, he took a mid-major Indiana State to 33-0 before facing what turned out to be his greatest rival, Magic Johnson, in the NCAA title game. But here's how Magic Johnson recalls meeting Larry Bird the summer before that game.
The summer before, they had the WIT tournament.
Okay.
And they brought all the best college players together to play against the world.
Okay.
And man, I see this guy, you know, blonde hair, you know. I said, all right, let me see if he can play.
Okay.
Man, I'm sitting there watching him shoot Shannon. He must have made 30 in a row all net.
So he was Steph Curry before Steph Wade.
Yeah. And I'm sitting there saying, this dude can play.
Okay.
Then we got in the game. Jack Gibbons was player of the year that year.
Right.
He tore him up, man. Man, Larry Bird was taking it to him. I said, oh, man, I'm calling back home saying, oh, he for real. He for real. This dude, Larry Bird?
Right.
Oh, he got it. He can play. He's dominating Jack Gibbons. And they said, no way. I said, oh, yeah, he's dominating.
I think our first game was in Kentucky. We got about a 10, 12-point lead. Man, they put us in. Went to 25, 30, just that fast.
Fast break again, 3-on-2. Griffin. Wow. And that's steal by Larry Bird.
Take us out, the league go back down, put us back in.
That's Bird and Johnson.
The show start again.
When you play with Magic, there's just something about it. You want to make that extra pass. You want to get that rebound and start to break.
We came down a couple times. I go behind my back, no look to him. He no look back to me, and I'm laying it up. I'm saying, oh, man.
Here's that last play. Magic Johnson going in, drops off to Bird. Bird puts it back off, inside to Johnson. Super basket.
This guy got game.
Little did Magic know that he would meet Larry Bird again, but this time, it would be in the national title game.
Here we go, 6-7 months later.
Right.
We're playing in the NCAA
Michigan
championship.
State.
He's player of the year.
ISU.
Sports Illustrated, all the magazines he on the cover.
Right.
And I said, wow. And they're 33-0.
33-0.
Man, I said, oh.
And they hadn't been ranked since.
That's right.
And they weren't ranked before.
Yes, that's right.
It is Indiana State against Michigan State. I'm Bryant Gumbel, and the fans here are going bananas.
That 1979 NCAA title matchup between Larry Bird and Magic Johnson is still the highest rated basketball game ever played. Unfortunately for Larry Bird, it was one of his worst because Michigan State double teamed him all night long, and since Larry was largely a one-man show, Indiana State had no answer.
Look at the pressure around him. 2-3 net, and he's short. Bird, way short. Bird hanging, can't score. Larry Bird has had a cold shooting night.
Yo. That boy took that thing back.
National champions, 1979.
Magic, not only were you leader on offense, I thought you did a great job on.
Hey, you know Larry was ready to come back with a vengeance going into the NBA season. Come on, man. They hated each other. Larry didn't want to be his friend. Magic over here trying to be his friend. Magic like, yo, what's with this guy? Larry Bird was seeing red.
On Larry Bird in the zone, denying him the ball.
Yes, Coach gave us a good game plan to go against Larry Bird, and all we had to do was go out and do it. That's what we done.
And congratulations, Super Bowl game.
No, it still hurts. And when you win 33 in a row and you walk into a game, you know, you never know what to expect, but I expect to win. We didn't win.
I can't imagine that feeling, getting that far into a tournament, right, and then losing, especially after being 33-0. I remember playing, not high school or anything, but intramurals in college. It was an intramurals tournament. We were winning all our games. And then, you know, we got into the playoff brackets, won, 2 or 3 series. We finally lost the game and we were eliminated. After winning all those games, one game eliminated us from the tournament. And it was only intramural basketball in college, but it hurt. I was sad. And I remember some guy that was spectating, he was on a different team. He was like, oh, boo-hoo, y'all lost, get over it. I'm like, man, I love this game, man. I wanted to keep playing. I wanted to win. I was very sad.
Larry Bird said this was his most painful loss ever. And when he got to the NBA, he took that pain out on the entire league. Not only did he play with a level of toughness that the NBA had never seen before, but Larry Bird's trash-talking stories are that of legend.
Their main man was Tom Chambers, and Chambers was guarding Larry.
Tom Chambers.
In the jump ball circle, Larry walked through myself and Chambers, and then came back and told Chambers, I know you guarding me, and I want you to know something. There's only one man that can guard me, and that's God. Now think about that for a second. Think about the confidence and the arrogance it takes to make that statement. Think about that for a second. One thing you got to give Larry Bird, he never stopped talking trash. Ever. Ever. Ever.
But is it really trash talking if you're backing it up?
Bird from the corner, his first time.
Absolutely.
16 points, Reggie King.
Still trash talking.
Bird is just toying with Chambers, and now Bird answers immediately. As I say, Chambers might as well not be out there. He's picking Larry up. He's pretty much giving him the outside shot. Larry is obliged very effectively this week, and he's really starting to force his offense.
That is a great move to free yourself up for a basket.
My goodness. I don't know if he's guarded Bird before, but I'll tell you, if he hasn't, he's...
Give the ball up to get it back for an easier shot. Basketball can be a simple sport.
Gonna remember this night for a while. Old Chambers isn't gonna get much sleep tonight. He's gonna be having Larry Bird nightmares.
Even Larry's own teammates could face his wrath. Not many younger people know this, but Hall of Famer Pete Maravich, who holds nearly every major NCAA scoring record, including highest scoring average at 44.2 points per game, was actually teammates with Larry Bird in Larry's rookie year. However, Larry couldn't care less about Pete's NCAA accolades, because when these two butted heads, Larry Bird got so disrespectful.
Well, my best story, I think, was probably Pete Maravich and Larry Bird.
I hope this is the story about the huddle during the timeout.
Maravich is pass the ball to Larry. Pete's man goes down and double teams Larry. Larry puts up a tough shot, and timeout's called, and we come to the timeout, and Pete Maravich looks over, and Larry says, Larry, they're double teaming you, man. You can't force up those kind of shots. And Larry looks up and goes, if you were any damn good, they wouldn't be double teaming me. This is one Hall of Fame to another one. I was in shock.
Ouch. Pete Maravich retired at the end of that year, and as a rookie, Larry Bird made the All-Star team.
Here comes the rookie out of Indiana State, who has lived up to his expectations, Larry Bird, and I'm told the other night here in Washington, he put on a clinic. Dantley gave it back, and Kermit Washington, and Bird rebounds, and now it's the East for the fast break. Behind his back to Gervin, and Larry stayed with the rebound.
When you call playing the whole court, get the rebound, take the pass back up the middle, make that pass, and stay right with it when it right in there. To rebounding, besides strength, is quickness. Good lateral.
Hell of a pass. Hell of a pass.
They're using the time inside to Moses.
Y'all better stop telling me, all you young kids, all you dummies out there, that players weren't playing defense in all-star games years past. Stop it. This is something I've been saying for over a decade now, or about a decade. What happened to the All-Star game? They never played defense back in the day. Yes, they did. The video. Tell me you never watched it, or you never went back to watch the footage. They absolutely, excuse me, can't talk. Used to play defense back in the day. Back when Kobe was playing, Mike, even years after the 80s and the early 90s when Bird retired.
Larry Bird took over on national TV by draining 2 corner shots to take the lead, igniting his reputation as one of the most clutch players in NBA history.
Hot Rod Hundley now has joined us over here at the announce table, and Larry
Hand down, man down.
Bird. The scoring table is not yet clear. This is a three-pointer. Yes, it is. That's a three-pointer. Is Larry Bird. It's back-to-back field goal.
And after that, he pulled off the play of the game in one of the greatest passes of his career.
142-136. Three-point try by Sigma is off.
Sigma, what you doing?
Comes out on the move. Dishes to Malone. Malone comes up. Stayed with it. Sigma with a hand. Tapped it back to Gervin. I don't believe he saw George Gervin.
That year, Larry Bird finished 4th in MVP voting, won Rookie of
Look at
the
that
Year,
pass,
and
bro.
pissed off his arch nemesis Magic Johnson, which ended up being the greatest individual rivalry in sports history.
We ended up in the 2 most famous, franchises,
Right.
the Celtics and the Lakers, and then his personality was Boston. My personality was Hollywood.
Right.
I mean, they couldn't have scripted this any better.
No. He was Rookie of the Year. I think you got like 1 or 2 votes.
That's all.
That's all you. I think it was like 32, 33 to like 1 or 2.
No, even more than that. It was 60-something to like 2. I hate to say that, too. I got to say that on TV. And so I was pissed, man. I was mad.
You like, hold on.
Became the first rookie in NBA history to be named Finals MVP.
Yeah.
I was only the 3rd dude ever in NBA history to go from the college championship to the NBA Finals championship. And so I get like 2 votes. And they were 2 LA dudes. I'm like, okay.
Supposed to have my back.
Better than me.
Right.
Not 63-2.
Right.
But okay, I took it. And I'm glad that we came in together because I had somebody to measure myself to.
Right.
And say, hey, okay, he's great. I can't let him get too far.
But Bird was also doing the same thing, opposite end, especially after losing in the NCAA championship, right? And even going into his second year after watching Magic win a championship in 1980.
Ahead of me, I got to work hard.
And Finals
I want to
MVP.
stay in.
How would you?
But what if I told you that there was a rivalry in the 80s that was even bigger than Celtics versus Lakers and even more intense than Celtics versus Pistons? I bet you wouldn't believe me.
I
but
believe
for
you.
3 years in a row,
Philly.
the Eastern Conference Finals was a dogfight between the Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers.
I always take that into context. That conference, that Eastern Conference back then, was a juggernaut. And I remember Larry, he was getting an interview. He was getting interviewed, and he mentioned that. They're like, listen, man, I play in this Eastern Conference. He's like, Magic's playing in that Western Conference. It's a whole different road to the finals. I heard Larry say that in an interview.
Long before Celtics Lakers, it was Celtics Sixers.
One of the most intense rivalries ever as you see Mark Ivoroni and Larry Bird go at it in this game. Larry asked if he's going to be thrown out, and he decided he's going to get his licks in before he left.
I think in terms of two clubs in professional sports and professional team sports, really wanting one another and going after one another's throats, this is definitely the ultimate.
Is Dr. J trying to hold Bird. Bird retaliates, and
And look at
Jay hitting Bird as he's being held from behind by Barkley and Moses Malone.
There's no greater time in basketball that I've ever had other than going out and beating the 76ers.
And in 1981, which was only Larry Bird's second year in the league, the Celtics and the 76ers had a battle for the ages in the Eastern Conference Finals in what many people have called the greatest playoff series of all time.
It was the greatest series I've ever played in. And in my opinion, maybe the greatest series leading up to a championship that two teams ever had to play.
Larry Bird and the Celtics were facing the MVP of the league, Dr. J, and the Philadelphia 76ers, the team with the best record in the league. And to make matters worse, Boston had not won a single game in Philadelphia in over 3 years because the 76ers were stacked with a team full of Hall of Famers.
Well, start out with the Hall of Famers they had over there. Start out with Dr. J, Bobby Jones. Maurice Cheeks was the starting guard, became a Hall of Famer. Caldwell Jones, the Boston Strangler, Andrew Toney, Daryl Dawkins. Daryl Dawkins was like Shaq.
Daryl Dawkins will tear that rim down and would nickname all his dunks Chocolate Drop of Thunder, Chocolate Thunder. This hat, diddy that, the whippy whap, quack, quack. It guy's a fool.
You know, just strong and big, and they were coached well by Billy Cunningham. That's why they were so tough.
Just 1 year earlier, Larry Bird and the Celtics lost in the Eastern Conference Finals to this same 76ers team, sparking a rivalry that would have them battling for Eastern Conference supremacy for the next 6 years.
So in 81, we win the first game up in Boston. Then you guys come back and win game 2.
Irving putting the moves on McHale.
We play a really tight game down there in Philly, and we lose.
Philadelphia has been magnificent,
and that game is over.
We lose game 4, and I'm like, ooh, this isn't good.
6 seconds to go. Boston doesn't call time. Archibald intercepted by Bobby Jones, and the game is over.
It's
Bobby
a tight
Jones.
one-possession game, and Bobby Jones does what he does, makes a great defensive play. That allowed you guys to win game 4 and go up 3-1.
The dreaded 3-1 deficit. In the history of the entire NBA, teams that go up 3-1 in the best-of-7 series are 258-13. That's a winning percentage of 95.2%. So,
what was that number as of 1981, though?
So the chances of Larry Bird and the Celtics coming back to win this series was at 4.8%. And for teams that go down...
Oh, I guess that number probably was for back then. Not adjusted for now. Sorry.
3-1 and win the championship, their chances drop down to 1.5%. So at this point, to say that Larry Bird was an underdog was an understatement.
I wasn't the type of guy to take stuff for granted. 3-1, I mean, it felt good, but it was by no means a foregone conclusion.
Don't get comfortable.
Game number 5 of this Eastern Conference Finals. The Celtics must win 3 straight.
In Game 5, the Celtics were losing by 10 points with only 6 minutes left in the game. And with the season on the line, Larry Bird took matters into his own hands.
Larry going to work offensively. One-handed baseline. An off-balance play by Larry Bird, who does Going with their starters is Larry Bird on a turnaround, hits the jump shot. Andrew Toney's shot, no good. Bird the rebound. He's taking matters into his own hands, Kevin. McHale, though, with the offensive rebound. He misses. Bird.
Oh, good rebound. Boom. Kevin McHale with that classic footwork, slight fade, mid-range. Bird rebound. Give me that. Put that joint back up. That is the heart of a champion, baby.
Pointed out Caldwell Jones in there. Going to the hoop. Bird. He could not be denied. Larry Bird brings the Celtics.
It's that sense of urgency. It's that sense of urgency.
This clutch bucket was the last field goal of the game. A defensive stop and a couple of free throws later, Boston won this game by only 2 points.
I love a deflection.
All right, here it is. 1 second. Boston up by 2. Trying to go to Philly for game 6. Intercepted. It's over. The Boston Celtics, who are down by 6 points with 1:28 to go. But Bird came back in the final crucial moments and did it when he had to do it.
And going in Boston, losing the next game, you had one to play with. But, coming into Philly, it's like, man, you have to feel good coming home.
Put this away, right?
Coming down to your place, I remember.
Hammer it.
I mean, game 6, we're going back to Philly.
Oh, it doesn't take long to get caught in this rivalry. I think it's one of the best rivalries in sports. You go out there and you compete, and you got to play so well to win it. It demands a lot out of you. And when the series is over, I think both teams can look back and say, hey, we gave it our best shot.
They know that they haven't won in 10 tries here at the Spectrum in Philadelphia, and that's why they want to go back to Boston, winning this afternoon.
We got into a dogfight. Back and forth.
Back and forth, exactly.
Back and forth.
The Celtics trying to break the jinx here at the Spectrum in Philadelphia.
No foul. I love it. I love it.
By the second half of Game 6, the Celtics were losing by as much as 17 points, but more Larry Bird heroics.
I wasn't aware of that. I wasn't aware they were down that much.
Wow. Turned this game into one of the greatest playoff games in NBA history.
Think about that, especially back then. The three-point shot wasn't weaponized. Like you're not erasing 15, 20-point leads in 3 minutes normally like you see today.
Because Boston stormed back and were willing to fight anyone that stepped in their way, even if you were just a fan in the crowd.
Harris with a turnaround in the lane. No good. Maxwell and Dawkins going at it, and now Maxwell goes after a fan. Maxwell goes after a fan.
Now hold up. I'm curious to see if he gets ejected for this and then suspended, because today that is a definite ejection and that is a suspension for sure.
And there's Bedlam in the stands here, and Bill Fitch is over there. Someone said something to Maxwell, and he went in with a vengeance.
I got knocked into the crowd, and when I got knocked into the crowd, some guy was saying something to me like, "Get back in the damn game." So I jumped over the photographer, and then it registered in my mind what he had said. As soon as he said that, I re-jumped back over and went into the stands with a flying forearm. At that time, it galvanized all our players together. It could have been all these people against us, and we were going to go down together. And at that particular point, the great Dave Zinkoff, who was the public address announcer for Philadelphia, comes on when we're down by 17 and says to the crowd, "Tickets go on sale for the championship game right after this." Oh my God. Everybody looked at.
See, I don't remember hearing that before. That reminds me of, God, what year was that? 2014? When the Miami Heat looked like they were about to lose Game 6. And they started bringing out like the ropes and stuff for the trophy presentation. And then Ray Allen hits that shot. Don't quote me on the year. I think so.
Each other and went, "Are you kidding me? This guy already said that." And then it was on like popcorn. Then we were down 17, almost before half. By the time we had our foot square in their behind after they were doing the celebration, we were down by only 5 points.
No, that would have been 2013. Yeah, 2011 Dallas, 2012 Miami, 2013 Miami, 2014 Spurs, 2015 Warriors, 2016 Cavs, yeah.
Tiny tries to drive. Bird, rebound. Gallagher, McHale, Bird, Maxwell, ML Carr, and Archibald. Looping shot by Larry Bird.
High arching shot.
3 points for Larry Bird, and the Celtics lead 84-83.
As Larry Bird leads the comeback with 25 points, 16 rebounds, and 4 assists, he once again hits the last clutch bucket of the game.
Bird out to Tiny with 8 seconds on the shot clock. Bobby Jones is on him on a defensive switch. Hollins on Bird. Larry Bird shot. Drops for him. Look at that.
Lean in.
This shot put the
Lean
Celtics
in.
up by 3 points. One defensive stop and a pair of free throws later helps Boston finally win a game in Philadelphia. Something they hadn't done in nearly 3 years.
Dawkins and Caldwell Jones, and that'll do it. The game is over. Boston has won. Only 3 teams have come back from a 3-1 deficit to force a 7th and win a 7th game. And the first time in 12 games, the Boston Celtics have defeated the Philadelphia 76ers.
And after that game, Kevin McHale called what happened next his most favorite moment of his entire career.
Kevin McHale, what is your favorite NBA moment?
Ooh. I would say 81, Game 6. We were in Philly, and we were down 3-1, and we won Game 5 in Boston to go 3-2. And we beat them on a last-second play where Tony's driving in, and we get a block, got my hand on the ball, and we win the game. And go back to Boston, and there's people like there's like I didn't realize that because I'm new to Boston. It's my first year being out there. I come from northern Minnesota, small mining town, played at the University of Minnesota. I didn't realize that Boston and Philadelphia hated each other sports-wise. I mean, hated each other. So we get back that night, and there's people. There's a crowd. I mean, there's people at the airport. And this game, we haven't won anything. We still have Game 7 to go, and they were the whole city was like electric. And then Game 7 in the arena. When I walked in, I got chills because the people were all standing up cheering. 18 minutes before the game, we went out to warm up. There wasn't an empty seat, and they stood the whole game and cheered and yelled and screamed. No dancing girls, no nothing, and Oregon going, and it was the most unbelievable environment you've ever seen. The building shook.
I was at that game. I was at all those games, and Game 7 to this day is the best basketball game I've ever been to. That was the only game I've been to, I've written about this, where the refs were just like, guys, you settle this. Guys are on the floor every play. There's 3 guys getting knocked down. It was like a rugby match, and I've just never seen a game like that. I don't think that game would happen again. There would have been about 20 flagrant fouls.
The Philadelphia 76ers, they have to be wondering about the fact that they had the Celtics put away. And all the Celtics wanted to do was win one at a
You don't have them put away until you actually put them away.
time. Red Auerbach told me before the game, Kevin, it's not so much saying you got to win 3 games, but to tell your team they have to beat us one more time.
That was the championship game. Whoever won that series between Philly and Boston, and Philly being up 3-1, and you getting them back to Boston for Game 7, whoever won that particular night, we knew that either one of those teams, Philly or Boston, could beat Houston. So that was the championship game that particular night.
Chris Ford, this is from the corner. Larry Bird, the rebound. That's what Boston has done to Philadelphia, dominate the offensive board. Parrish doing to Dawkins what he did to him, but misses. But Larry Bird, another offensive rebound. And the next time, Tiny to Ford, Larry Bird, three-point play.
Bro, you know the Garden was live.
Anything could ignite a crowd and ignite a team. A three-point play by their best player. It's the safest way to do it.
And just like the previous 4 games, Game 7 went down to the wire. And with the tie game with 1 minute left on the clock, Larry Bird does what Larry Bird did the entire series in the clutch.
Irving setting up for something. Fakes. Low into Dawkins. Double team. Dawkins goes in. Misses. Here comes Bird out of the pack.
Bird's coming to the left. The stop and pop off the glass. It's gone. Boston leads 91-89. 1 second left. And the pass hits the top of the backboard. And it's over. They came from 3 of 1 down. And they have won the series. It's all over. It's all over. This place is a madhouse.
This game-winning jump shot helped Larry Bird versus a team with 3 Hall of Famers on their roster pull off the greatest 3-1 comeback of all time, because the 1981 Eastern Conference Finals remains the only series in NBA history in which 5 games were decided by 2 points or less. The Celtics won Game 5 by 2 points, Game 6 by 2 points, and Game 7 by 1 point. Each game literally went down to the last second.
Nail biters.
That is the definition of clutch.
Nail biters.
A lot of 1-2 point games. It just seemed like every time you look up the clock, we had a 1 point lead, and there's 1 second on the clock, and they had the ball. It was them type of games where all the emotion, all the adrenaline, and everybody was just flowing, and everything was just going to perfection at the end of the game. That was probably the best games I ever played in my life. It was a 7-game series, and every one of them was just full of excitement.
That Eastern Conference was a gauntlet, man. It was no joke. That Eastern Conference is what the Western Conference became in the late 90s, early 2000s after Michael Jordan retired. And for the most part, the Western Conference has been the most dominant conference for the vast majority of the years since. I couldn't imagine being a Celtics or a Philly fan in that series, watching that series unfold, all these close games, nail biters, or watching your team come back, or watching your team collapse. Man, that the all the emotions on both teams, both fan bases being on opposite sides of that spectrum each at one point in time during that series. It's crazy. It's crazy. Gotta love sports. You got to love sports, people. I'm a Kobe Bryant guy. Some of you know that. And, what a lot of people that get in debates with me, they'll say, Kobe Bryant didn't get Finals MVP, his first 3 MVPs. Therefore, Kobe Bryant got carried by Shaquille O'Neal because he didn't get any Finals MVPs. So then I'll say, okay, so you tell me that Steph Curry got carried for 3 of his championships. He got carried by Andre Iguodala, and he got carried twice by Kevin Durant. You tell me that. Tell me Tim Duncan got carried by Tony Parker in 2005. Or 2007, excuse me. 2007. Tell me Larry Bird got carried by Cedric Maxwell in 81 because Larry didn't get Finals MVP. Tell me Larry Bird wasn't the driving force on that team and the best player on that team because he didn't get Finals MVP and he was carried. Tell me that. Shh. I never get a response. Shh. No more rebuttals after that. Anyway, I've said all I had to say throughout the video. I appreciate you all for stepping in. Shout out to the Bird Gang. Thank you for watching. Hope all is well. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified, and catch you on the next one. We out, baby.